Hey guys. Um, I know I'm about a month late on the next episode. I kind of like how I said I was like, oh, I'm gonna start getting back on schedule. And, uploading, fucking once a week, like I said before. Maybe it was twice a week, but and then I disappeared for a month. Um, I just got to be honest. I was just busy and I was just not in the mindset to just be doing any of my videos or anything. Um I mean, to be fair, I mean I definitely had my moments of time where I could have because I've literally just been playing Rainbow Six Siege with Pyre and Nick, if I'm being completely honest, and I've been playing a lot of Java with Toby and Pyre. So yeah, I've definitely had my moments of time where I could have been recording, but it's just been honestly, it's just been a little rough for your boy. Um, and, I thought for a minute, I might as well. Oh my god, I might as well sit down and talk about it because I have the time. Because I'm currently waiting for the boys to hop on Java right now. Um, so I was like, fuck it, might as well record an episode while I have the time. And honestly, I think I think the best way to put things right now is that I kind of had my revelation about everything. One revive and it's gone. Damn. Okay. Um. God, sorry, I'm getting fucking sidetracked. Um. I kind of had my revelation about shit that's been going on. Um. You know. I'm just really grateful for my friends because they've been really, really helping me out through everything. Because I got hard stuck on something, and it was just not good for me. And it took me a while to realize that I am just not doing enough for myself, and I was in a really bad depressive spot. Um, I guess you could say I was struggling with just the denial. I just couldn't accept what's going on or how things are going. But my friends they just told me how it was. I gotta stop sitting here and just wallowing to myself because it's not going to do any good for me. Um, and I think I finally came to terms with myself that this is just how things are going to be, and I gotta just learn to accept how things are. Um, you can't change everything. You can't change people. You can't change uh, the past, and the future is yet to come. So there's no point in just being hard stuck on the past when uh, the thing when things won't change. If you sit there and constantly think about the past and hold on to something because of it, is and then it ends up not being the same way how it was, isn't that just going to lead to more disappointment? And you got to be able to have that self-respect to just understand when things are not gonna change, not gonna work. Um, I've kind of come to terms with myself that there's things for myself about myself and stuff that I have to accept that I can't change. But the things that I can't accept are the things that I can change. And so the things I can't accept, I'll change. Um, and it took me a while to just sit down and want to do things for myself. Um, I was doing everything because I just thought things would go back to how I wanted them to be. But and then with time, I kind of realized that I'm doing a whole lot of everything for a whole lot of nothing at the moment. Um, And so I kind of just took that moment in time to just worry about myself for a while. Um, and then I started to realize that I'm really just I'm losing myself for something that doesn't mind losing me. Um, and I just thought to myself like I don't want to keep sitting here and doing this shit. Um, I want to feel like my efforts aren't going unnoticed. And the only way for it to go unnoticed is if I just notice that I'm working hard. I gotta do shit for myself and help myself because I can't just sit here and expect everything to go my way, go exactly how I want. Um, Shit happens, and that's just life. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. We kind of just have to accept that life just isn't going to be fair sometimes. And I think my biggest problem was that I just wasn't ready to accept what was so clear. Um, I kept just telling myself that, oh, maybe just this is only happening because, it just needs more time, needs more space. But, you just gotta understand when enough's enough. Um, and there's still that part of me that's hurt of all this. I tried my best. I did everything I could to make things right, and I can't sit here and beat myself up over it because I did everything I could, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Is that if I tried my best, then I don't gotta. Goddamn. I don't gotta worry that there's more that I could do. And while I do think that there is more that I could do, it's more that I could do for myself. Um, I just kept relying and relying on this one thing, and it just wasn't there. And I just, sorry, fuck. I let it eat away at me, and that was my biggest mistake. Is that I let something that deep down didn't even like have to be there or even want to. I let it affect how I lived my life, what I did day in, day out. And, I've kind of come to terms and accept that I'm not getting back what I wanted. I'm not getting I'm not getting it back. And as much as there's still a part of me that wants it back. But, I've sat down with my friends, I've talked things out, and even if I had the chance, I don't think I could. And that's just, it's just because, I tried as hard as I could. And, I don't think it's worth it to myself to go through that again. And, there's that chance that it doesn't happen. But, there's always that chance that it does. And I don't think it's fair to myself to go through the same thing twice after I just learned to just manage and get over it. And I'm not saying I'm fully over whatever's going on. I'm not. No, deep down there's something inside me that, just wishes things would be different. But that part of me also just is just deeper down inside myself now. Like I'm not fully reliant on this anymore because, I have some of the greatest friends I could ever ask for. And I'm just so fucking grateful that that they're there for me and have been helping me through all of this. And I'm just I'm so unbelievably grateful. Uh, I have amazing friends. I have, you know, I still have my music. I still have wrestling that I can look forward to. Um, and I think my biggest issue is that I wanted closure so fucking bad. I didn't care if it was the worst news of my life. I just wanted to hear something. But the thing about life is, a lot of times you're not going to get that closure that you want. You just have to listen to yourself, listen to your mind. Don't just sit there and listen to your heart because your heart's going to try and lie to you. It's going to want to hope for the best. It's going to want to, make you think like, the best out of a worse situation. And for the most part, you should think that. But at the same time, you got to know when enough is enough. You got to you know, sorry, I just fucking blanked out really bad there. um, just you gotta just like I've been saying, you gotta have that self-respect. You can't just sit there and expect everything to go the right way because it's just not going to. That's just simply not how things work, sadly. And like I've been saying, like I wanted to hold out hope, and a part of me still does. And I think that's what I'm so afraid of is that there's still that part of me that's willing to just sit there and lie to myself about everything. But I'm done lying to myself, done being lied to. You know, and I've had more than enough realization. I've had more than enough proof that I've been lying to myself. I've been lied to. And like there's no point in me just sitting there accepting it and being, like, oh yeah, things will get better. No, if you know you're being lied to and you don't deserve it, hell, actually, you don't deserve it at all, ever. You know, take it to the chest and just accept it and learn to try and move on. Not even learn to try. You got to learn to move on. And I'm not saying you necessarily have to let things go. No, you don't have to forgive. You don't have to forget. Well, that's definitely an important thing that I like to live by. Just there's some things that you can't forgive and forget, but you can learn to not hold on to grudges. Like even after everything, I have no hate in my heart for what's going on, but I'm just not going to tolerate disrespect to myself anymore. Like I know what I'm worth, and I'm worth more than just this. And it hurts me to say because just deep down I want things to work. I wanted things to work out. But I can't just sit here and just be lied to. That's just not fair to me, and it sure as fuck it is not good for you. So I'm just taking things to the gut, at this point. If that's how things are gonna be, that's how things are gonna be. And and when I'm doing better, even when I'm doing bad, I just deep down I hope I never see you again. I hope I never hear from you again. Part of me wants to, but there's also a large part of me that doesn't. And I want nothing to do with you ever again. And I'm sorry if that's awful. I'm sorry if that's rude, but I've been lied to. I've been hurt enough. I gotta do what's best for me, and what's best for me is staying away.